to Tokyo-to. The three hottest things on the streets of Tokyo-to are the punks wearing newly developed Netrium-powered inline skates, the graffiti they spray, claiming it is their way of expressing themselves to the world, and, of course, Jet Set Radio, the non-stop pirate radio station that pumps out nothing but non-stop, hardcore tunes, run by the enigmatic DJ Professor K, who spouts nothing but powerful street truths. Jet Set Radio, or Jet Grind Radio in the States, was set not radical enough? We needed to let everyone know you'd be grinding in this game? I guess that's why we needed to call it Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, not like Tony Hawk Adventure or something. Us simple-minded Americans need an actionable word to even pick the damn thing up off the shelf. Anyway, Jet Set Radio was developed in 1999 by Smilebit, a Sega studio comprised of members from Team Andromeda, a studio of around 20 developers, all with an average age landing below 25. Team Andromeda were the developers of the Panzer Dragoon series for the Sega Saturn, so while it wasn't their first bout in game design, Jet Set Radio would turn out to be nothing like what they made before. Jet Set Radio began its development with a very important distinction in mind. The visual style would be established before the gameplay. Art director Ryuta Ueda wanted to come up with something cool, something that could relate to pop culture, and something that was completely unlike Panzer Dragoon Saga. The cool, fresh, and somewhat punky design of Sonic the Hedgehog and the anti-establishment themes of then-topical film Fight Club would influence Ueda's designs, and combined with Smilebit's new cel-shading technique, an art style involving thick lines and bright colors allowing designs to really pop in a comic book style, Jet Set Radio was born. Jet Set Radio follows a group comprised of a few Rudies, street punks who inline skate around Tokyo-to, vandalizing the city with graffiti in a multi-purpose effort to express themselves, rebel against the government, and, of course, mark their territories against rival gangs. Spraying graffiti over an existing gang's graffiti, especially in their own territory, is a huge FU. Government crackdowns on the Rudies are getting more and more severe, erupting in violence as Goji Orokuku, head of the ultra-powerful Orokuku conglomerate, orders the police to remove Rudies from the streets. Ultimately, the story is one of rebelling against government oppression, living your life as you want to, and, of course, leaving your mark on the world. As when you're gone, your legacy, your art, is what's going to prove to the world that you existed, even if it was only for a tiny bit in the history of time and space. When I'm gone and all memory of me has been forgotten, this YouTube channel will be the only evidence that I ever existed at all. Jet Set Radio follows a pretty tight gameplay loop that really perfects the cross between a level-based adventure game and arcade action. Each level starts you in a small section of Tokyo-to with a time limit. Usually, your goal is to tag every graffiti spot around the map, but you'll also have head-on battles with the other gangs. As you tag more and more locations, police resistance gets heavier, often to the point of absolute absurdity and madness. To tag these spots, you'll need to collect cans dotted around the map, all while avoiding the police. These cans are often placed in spots that will require you to use your main traversal tools: skating, grinding, wall riding, and, of course, catching serious air. Unlike trick-focused games such as Tony Hawk, performing tricks is secondary to getting around the map. While you can string together combos between grinding, wall riding, and aerial tricks, these tricks will be automatically performed when you jump on or from a rail. Instead, while grinding and dashing, you'll be able to avoid foes, to the point of bullets and certain enemies not being able to hit you. While performing longer combos can net you points, the majority of your score is going to come from your graffiti. When you have enough spray cans, you can try your hand at some virtual vandalism. Larger graffiti murals require you to follow control stick prompts on screen, while small spots can be tagged mid-skate. As you could expect, it's hard to paint large murals with the cops hot on your tail, and since the police force only amps up after you've hit a few spots, it's often prudent to tag those larger murals first, before the police really have a chance to gather in force. The time limit gives you more than enough time to fully explore each corner of the map and formulate an attack plan in which graffiti spots are safer to hit first. In addition to planning your route, as you progress, you'll be challenged by other Rudies, each with a unique, cool, and memorable design, either in a race or a follow-me type trick exhibition. Once you beat them at their challenge, they'll be added to your crew, and you can select them for future stages. Each Rudi has their own statistics, which will force you to reevaluate your strategies. Will you choose a character who can carry a lot of spray cans and have easier graffiti prompts, but at the cost of scoring fewer points per mural, or vice versa? After you think you've unlocked all the characters, there are also quite a few secret characters to unlock for some endgame content and replay value. And speaking of unlocks, you can also hunt down graffiti souls hidden around the map to unlock new pieces to coat the town in, or hell, even make your own. Each prefecture of Tokyo-to has 3 levels, which eventually culminate in the final chapter, to 3 sprawling maps made up of those 3 previous levels, forcing you to revisit old locations with new challenges, but also improve your strategy to include nearly every area you've conquered thus far. Truly an amazing feeling of progression when you really understand these 3 prefectures and how they're connected. Each level is brilliantly designed with multiple pathways through an area, and many include trick lines where you can rack up a theoretically infinite combo, if you're skilled enough to do so. While Jet Set Radio wasn't the first game to use cell shading, that award would go to PS1 title Fear Effect, it was certainly the first to popularize the visual style. The streets and characters of Tokyo-to became truly memorable. In fact, it was Ueda's goal for each character to be representative of an idea. An icon is the word he uses. As an added bonus of the cel-shaded art style, not only has Jet Set Radio aged extremely well, but it also looks gorgeous in HD. The 3 prefectures and 2 Grind City stages are not only incredibly varied and visually breathtaking, but really capture their real-world counterparts, but in that signature Jet Set Radio style. There is, of course, one more piece that holds together this super stylized piece of gaming perfection, and that's the soundtrack. Largely composed by absolute legend Hideki Naganuma, along with a couple other grade A artists, every single track is an absolute bop. The soundtrack utilizes a variety of genres including J-pop, hip-hop, funk, electronic dance, rock, acid jazz, and trip-hop to create an OST that will rarely leave your head or your feel-good playlists. Naganuma focused on matching the soundtrack with the visual aesthetic of Jet Set Radio, experimenting with voice samples, cutting and editing them to the point of being nonsensical. In an interview, Naganuma said he'd chop up the words, laughing to himself late into the night as he composed the tracks. You can tell he really had fun with these tracks, and it shows. Jet Set Radio became something of a cult classic, garnering a dedicated fan following, an isometric Game Boy Advance port, an HD remake, and, of course, the elephant in the room, Jet Set Radio Future. A fully fledged sequel that would lose the arcade-style action in favor of a more open-world adventure approach. All of these were met with positive critical and fan reception, especially Future, but after that, Sega would put Jet Set Radio on the shelf, so far, indefinitely. A few games would come out that would see obvious Jet Set Radio inspiration, even to the point of Hideki Naganuma working on some music for them, but at this time, it looks like Bomb Rush Cyberfunk will be the closest thing we'll see to a new Jet Set Radio game. Jet Set Radio is a nearly perfect amalgamation of individualistic, anti-establishment ideals, gorgeous visuals, memorable designs, addictive, fast-paced gameplay, and bumpin', funky, fresh music. Jet Set Radio HD goes on sale on Steam like every other week for like $1.50, so there's really no excuse not to pick it up at some point. Jet Set Radio influenced me like few other games do. Hell, it even inspired me to pick up some inline skates. I became a Rudy myself. And now, it's your turn. You should be playing Jet Set Radio! I'd like to take a moment to thank my one and only Patreon supporter, Harvest Time. Thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me, and keeps me motivated to keep putting out quality content. If you're interested in becoming a patron, you can find the link in the description of this video. There, you can listen to me sing your praises, and even score some exclusive Cyberphile merchandise. Hey, thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe for more Cyberphile content, and if you like this video, show me with that little thumbs up button. If you liked this video, you might like one of my other videos. You can click right on the boxes to jump to them. Cyberphile, offline.